Hi Flosstube. I'm Karen, aka the Warp Spinster, and this is my first Flosstube video. I'm a little uncomfortable seeing my face so much, to be honest with you, because while I do a lot of videos, I have a quilting channel on YouTube as well. Mostly my demos and classes are done with just my hand showing. Now, mind you, I'm no hand model either, but I'm very happy to be here. I discovered Flosstube not very long ago, actually, and I've been voraciously gobbling them up. I'm so in awe of all the designers and artisans and crafts people out there doing these wonderful pieces. So I thought I would join in. I am not pretending to be any kind of an expert. In fact, I'm pretty much a newbie in what I'll be talking about, except for quilting. So I'll mostly be talking about needlepoint, which I am a newbie at, and some cross stitch, which I used to do quite a lot when I was younger, but haven't for a while, and I'm just getting back into it. Quilting, I've come closest to being an expert. I've been quilting for almost 50 years now. And I design patterns and quilts, and I teach and whatnot. So quilting, I come closest. The others, I just want to share. Maybe there are some others who are newer who want to commiserate. I'll be doing quite a bit of needlepoint because that's what I'm starting on. I'm also a designer, and I've been very intrigued with designing needlepoint canvases with some of my designs. So I'll be talking about that, but also cross stitch, because you Flosstubers have gotten me back into cross stitch. I'm just in awe of everything you do. I have more of a modern bent, definitely in quilts, but kind of also in needlepoint. To me, tends to be a little more modern looking than some of, or a fair amount of the cross stitch that I see out there. It's beautiful, and I love it, and I've done it in the past. I admire it. My own design and taste tends to be a little bit more on the modern side, contemporary side. There isn't much to tell about me. I'm a retired librarian. Pretty much what you see is what you get. I'm enjoying my retirement and being able to get into a lot of different things. My big thing in life is learning, and so you'll see that a lot in my fiber kinds of things. Oh, let's try this. Okay, now I know how to do that. Let me go on to something else. And I'm my friend calls it eclectic. I varied. I tend to think of it more as fickle. Not really. It's once I learn how to do something, okay, I want to learn something new. And sometimes I will get back to things that I haven't done in a long time, and that's where I am with all of this. My mom got me started with everything. She taught me how to sew when I was 6 or 7, knit, crochet, embroider, all of that, and I do all of that, but I've also expanded on that. I also do some spinning and weaving, and I just love getting my hands on fiber and creating things. So welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that I will have something to offer you all, because you have given me so much. I want to start out with some finishes, and I'll start out with needlepoint first. And the first needlepoint that I finished was actually one of my designs. This is Penelope and Zoe, and it is all tent stitch. I won't say basket weave because I didn't really know how to do basket weave then, so be kind. It's my first one. The edges are very skimpy. I put it into a pillow and decided I didn't like the fabric that I used, so I ripped that out, and because I had cut down the edges in order to fit into the pillow, probably more than I should have cut off, the edges are a little bit on the narrow side, shall we say. And it also, I hadn't blocked it correctly, and I know that these skimpy edges are going to be interesting to reblock this. But anyway, this is Penelope and Zoe in honor of a couple of giraffes at our local zoo. I'm in Western Iowa, by the way, where we've been having 3 seasons per week. So this is Penelope and Zoe, all in tent stitch. I painted the canvas myself, designed it, painted it, and did the stitching. I have to say that while I enjoy doing backgrounds, and it can be very meditative, it would have been better if I had known better how to do the the basket weave. I think it would have made it look better, for one thing. And now that I have been doing more needlepoint and taking some classes, I'm learning that there are definitely some other stitches that would have been fun to use on here. But it's okay. If it's a pillow, it will be good and sturdy with all of those tent stitches. I'll pretend they're basket weave. How's that? Then I decided that I really wanted to learn how to do some needlepoint, so I took a class at my local needlepoint shop, which is Village Needleworks in Omaha, Nebraska. And I saw this in the shop. I was just kind of bumbling around looking for things and just soaking in all the gorgeousness of all the canvases and their samples. This is called Mary Santa, and it's by Lisa Worrell, who is an Omaha artist. She is a cut paper artist, actually, and has had some of her designs translated to, whatever, needlepoint designs. And this is where I started to learn to do some stitches. And bless their heart, at the shop, I asked Mary, the owner, if I was okay to take this class, that I'd had a little bit of stitching experience, not a lot, and she said, yeah, you'll be fine. So I was quiet and just soaked it all up because that was a lot of new stitches for me, and it's wonderful. So again, the canvas is Lisa Worrell, Worrall. I'll try to remember to put that down in the description. And the stitch guide is from Catherine Becker, who's also local, and she was also the teacher of the class. Wonderful teacher. She's doing a cruise, which I think she's doing Mary, this particular one, on the cruise. She's a wonderful teacher, nice lady, and I learned a lot from her. I just, in fact, took another class from her a couple of days ago, and I'll show you that canvas a little later. While I'm here, though, I will show you, for example, another Lisa Worrell canvas that I bought. I love dogs. When I was younger, I had an all-black Schipperke. Zara, just loved that dog, and I adore dogs, I really do, but in my aging process, I have developed an allergy to them, so this is going to be the dog in my home. I can be around them and enjoy other people's dogs because I can come home and wash my face and hands and launder my clothes, but just can't have them in the house, and that just breaks my heart, to be honest. All right, other finishes then, needlepoint finishes. I have a couple more here. I wanted to do something besides Christmas because I've been doing a lot of Christmas. So I chose this Susan Roberts egg, which is, I think, lovely. I did a few newish stitches, but it's so small, and I'm not good at gauging what kind of stitches I can do. I'm trying to keep the light from here. Let's do this. The little chicks, I decided, well, you know, as long as we're gonna try out turkey work, let's start on something really, really small. So I did do little fuzzy chicks, fluffy chicks. They're not great because they're my first foray into turkey work, and they are very small, but I was happy to do that design. Then I also did a Kelly Clark, and this is Mrs. Claus the Baker. I think Mrs. Claus gets short shrift, so while I love Santa Clauses, I also want to do some Mrs. Clauses, and I'll see if I can get her hair in there. The locks I did, I chose these stitches. The locks there are on her hair are sort of a combination of a French knot, Although I guess French knots technically only have one wrap, and this has a lot of wraps, so it's, I don't know, different stitch combinations, just loose. And then I also have finished, and I've done the lacing on this. I just haven't got the backing and the cording finished yet, but this is one of my own designs again. Painted the canvas and completed it. And that was a lot of fun to do. Again, nothing very complicated in the stitches, but I did do some fun pink and blue for the eyebrows. So I'm going to do black and white cording around that. And then the backing, I was going to have a pink stripe that I designed and ordered from Spoonflower. I think the stripe is too big now for what I want to do. So I will change the scale on that stripe and try again. I think I want a little bit showing around here, and it will be a pink stripe that matches the glasses and the letters. So I think that will, when I have my sewing stuff upstairs now, and I had this propped up on the sofa across from my sewing machine, and every time I was sewing, I looked over and I saw her. So she and I have become friends. I've seen a lot of her of late. I have to give her a name yet. And then the last finish I have for the moment is this ornament. Again, this is from one of my designs. It's quilting tools. I have a whole collection, Quilting Friends, that has a variety of quilting tools and things in it. So this I just derived from that. I painted the canvas, did the stitching. I have some ribbons to tie at the top yet, just haven't gotten to that. I'm kind of like quilting where I just, everything is finished except the border, if there's a border. I don't really like borders because I don't like to do them. But if there's a border, it's like everything's finished but the border, but I can't make myself do the border, and I just can't make myself try to tie a decent bow, I guess. I know, fork, all of that. And I guess that's it for recent or fairly recent finishes. Works in progress. Let's talk about works in progress. One work in progress is my logo. This is Warped Spinster, and that is my logo. It's kind of Warped Spinster squared because the warp and the spinster comes from weaving. Well, spinning and weaving, both of which I do, and that's where the name came from. But I also am unmarried, so kind of works. And some people think I'm a little eccentric, so just thought that was a fun name. It seems to be memorable, at least. Anyway, I finished stitching the spindle, but I didn't like it. I mean, I generally like the spindle. I like the purple, but somehow the top just wasn't right, nor was the bottom down here. So I am redoing it. I've recharted it, and I'll be doing that one again. Then I am also doing chocolate, next question, which has been, I don't know, it's a little bit difficult. The design wasn't difficult. I did that and I painted it fine. Doing the background stitch has been interesting. And when I originally did the design, I didn't do I just had a cherry sitting on top of that dark chocolate. And I decided it really needed some whipped cream under it. So I added some whipped cream, which means I couldn't do white for the background because it would get lost. So I decided I would do this cream color, and I like it a lot, but I've been round and round about background stitches. And while they were all stitches that I liked and would work on some backgrounds, it just didn't look quite right with this. So I ended up doing this particular stitch. Don't know what the name is. It's just across, I guess it's across two threads technically. a diagonal. It's just very simple. And I realized the other day that it's actually what, I'm in Ellen Johnson's Stitchers Club, and I was working on this during our last stitch together and was kind of complaining a little bit about I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for the background. And this is in fact what she suggested. And I tried it in the white thread that I had, and I didn't care for it much that way. And I think it was also going across one, or not doing that extra hole or thread or whatever. And that made a lot of difference too. So thank you, Ellen. I apologize. I didn't just go with your suggestion to begin with. I would have been happier. And then this is the canvas. And this canvas is from a Stitch in Time. It's called Tulips. And again, this stitch guide is from Catherine Becker, and she was also the teacher of the class. And it's a lot of cross stitches. So we had a chance for her to go through that and help us learn all of those different cross stitches on the leaves and the tulips. And I love this canvas. It's so bright and happy and gives you lots of large spaces to do some lovely stitches. So that's from a Stitch in Time, and the stitch guide is from Catherine Becker. And finally, it's time to do some cross stitch stuff, isn't it? This is, to get this turned around right, if you remember this ornament that I did in needlepoint, I have translated it to cross stitch. And so that is the orange spool started. And I'm enjoying getting back to cross stitch. It's very, I don't know, meditative for me. This is just on 18 count Aida. I'm puzzled as to how to pronounce that. I know as a name it would be Aida. I hear Aida mostly for the fabric. But I've charted this to include as a bonus. I do a freebie with each of my newsletters, quilting newsletters. And because these are quilting tools, I thought for those who are also cross stitchers, I would do one, and it's very simple. It's all DMC and all full cross stitches. So, and not a lot of different colored threads. So it should be, I hope, pretty easy for folks. If I can do it, anyone could do it. I should have done this for finishes. And my days in cross stitch, I did a lot of Prairie Schooler. I love Prairie Schooler. And this was back originally, you know, I'm an old person. And I bought, I don't know, I think I have a dozen or more of the Santa booklets. And I have stitched a lot of those for my staff when I was working, staff of 2. But when I was working, I used to stitch a different ornament each year for each of them. And I did that for quite a few years. So I stitched a lot of them. I also stitched a lot of Prairie Schoolers for my mom, for her tree. And I also stitched some for myself, more for Mom though. And since she and Dad have passed away, I have those for my tree now. And I love having those. I also, and I know that they're reprinting a lot of the Prairie Schoolers. This one is one that I did years and years ago and just put it on sticky board and put it in this frame. And it's a whole series, one for each month. So this is September. And I have maybe half of the series stitched. I cannot find that booklet for anything. And I don't know where it is. I'll keep looking. I don't think they've reprinted this one yet, but I do have, I think, 5 or 6 others. And for some reason, I stopped putting them out. I had a little mini wooden plate holder that I had them on, and they were just a nice little seasonal monthly change. And I am going to have to see if I can track this down. I have no idea where it is. All the Santa things I have together, but I don't know where that is. So I want to get working on that. And I almost forgot, another of my works in progress is another one of my designs. This is the most recent one that I painted. I have so many things in line ahead of it before I stitch it, but I just felt like painting. I'm not a skilled painter. I can do it and it's good for me. I'm not going to be hiring out anytime soon, but I do stitch paint them. And I really love this one, and I'm looking forward to choosing the colors and threads for this one. This is Whale Watch. I think that's my works in progress. And as far as kind of a haul goes, I showed you the Lisa Worrell piece, The Dog in the Window, and she has lots of lovely designs. She has a 12 Days of Christmas that's really neat, and she also has a couple more Santas I saw at the shop. One of them, I don't know what their names are, but one of them looks like a wizard Santa, which is really cool. And then also another Santa, which looks quite different from the Merry Santa. So if you want to check out her designs, I know I've seen one or two of her designs elsewhere, but you can certainly go to villageneedleworks.com in Omaha, and they have all of her designs, and you can see her canvases. Lots of lovely designs, and there's one, they have a sample in the shop of, it's a bouquet of posies, and I just love it. Yeah, I hope there's a stitch guide for it too, because it's a lovely, lovely work. And I was going to buy it yesterday, even though I promised myself I'm not going to buy any more canvases because I have plenty, and I'm painting some, and you know the story. But instead, I bought another canvas with sheep on it, so I'm sure I will buy another one of Lisa's at some point. But I have to stop buying canvas. I have to stop buying canvases. I went in one day and I told Gabby, don't let me walk out with another canvas. And she said, oh, okay, wink, wink, you know. So I guess that's going to be it for me today. I hope there's something here of interest to you. It's been fun, even though I have to look at my face more than I want to look at my face. I still have pandemic hair. Can you tell? I've been trimming my own hair. And, you know, sometimes I'll be looking in the camera and I'll think, oh, that needs to be trimmed a little bit. And that is slippery slope. Slippery slope. That's why my hair is a little shorter than it has been of late. Anyway, that's it for me this week. I hope I'll see you next time. And I will see you in Flosstube because I am loving yours. I think it was hands-on design. Kathy got me started on it, and I've just been going all over watching all of you, and you're amazing. Love you. Thank you for doing what you do and for sharing it. That's it for me. Have a good one. Be happy, stay healthy, and be safe. Peace.